Four more World Cup matches are coming today. Spain face Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia face Uruguay, Iran face New Zealand, and Belgium face Egypt. This is the day Groups G and H begin, and the storylines are excellent. Spain start as one of the biggest favorites of the tournament. Cape Verde play their first ever World Cup match. Uruguay begin the Marcelo Bielsa era on the biggest stage. Saudi Arabia try to repeat the kind of upset they produced against Argentina in 2022. Iran face New Zealand in a match with pressure on and off the pitch. And Belgium face an Egypt side led by Mohamed Salah and Omar Marmoush. So today, we are going through the schedule, team news, current form, key players, group implications, and my score predictions. Let's get into it. Here is today's schedule in UK time. Spain vs Cape Verde kicks off at 5 p.m. Saudi Arabia vs Uruguay kicks off at 8 p.m. Iran vs New Zealand kicks off at 11 p.m. and Belgium vs Egypt kicks off at 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So this is a full World Cup day. Group H starts with Spain and Uruguay both expected to win. Group G starts with Iran trying to prove their experience matters and Belgium trying to show they are still a serious tournament team. But this World Cup has already shown us something. The favourites do not always get comfortable starts. Let's start with Spain versus Cape Verde. Kickoff is 5 p.m. UK time, and this is one of the clearest favourite versus underdog matches of the tournament. Spain are European champions. They are one of the most technical teams in world football. They have a deep squad. They have elite midfield control. They have dangerous wide players. And they arrive with serious expectations. For Spain, this is not just about winning. It is about starting the tournament with authority. Because in a group with Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, goal difference could matter. And when Spain are expected to dominate, anything less than control will be questioned. Spain's biggest strength is the way they can suffocate opponents with possession. They move the ball quickly, they press aggressively after losing it, and they force teams to defend for long periods. That is exactly the kind of match Cape Verde may have to survive. But there is also team news to watch. Lamine Yamal is fit enough to be involved, but he is not expected to start. The reports suggest he could be used for partial minutes, depending on how the match develops. Nico Williams has also been recovering from injury issues, so Spain may not need to force every star from the first minute. That is still a scary situation for Cape Verde, because if they survive the first hour, Spain can still bring elite pace and creativity off the bench. For Cape Verde, this is history, their first ever World Cup match, a moment for the country, a moment for the players, and a moment that will be remembered forever, regardless of the result. But they are not here just for a photo opportunity. Cape Verde earned this. They knocked out Cameroon on the road to qualification. They are organized, they are physical, they have speed, and they have belief. The challenge is obvious. Can they defend deep, stay compact, and avoid giving Spain early spaces? Because if Spain score early, this could become a long evening. The tactical battle is simple. Spain will have the ball. Cape Verde will have to defend without losing concentration. Spain will try to stretch the pitch. Cape Verde will try to slow the game down. Spain will look for combinations around the box. Cape Verde will try to turn clearances and transitions into rare attacking moments. For Spain, the key players are Pedri, Rodri, Nico Williams, and Lamine Yamal if he comes on. For Cape Verde, the key is collective discipline. This is not a match where they can rely on one player to solve everything. They need 11 players switched on for 90 minutes. My prediction for Spain versus Cape Verde is Spain 3, Cape Verde 0. I respect Cape Verde's story, and I think they will fight, but Spain should have too much control, too much technical quality, and too much depth. If they score in the first half, I think the match opens up. Prediction, Spain 3, Cape Verde 0. Now let's move to Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay. Kickoff is 8 p.m. UK time. And this one is interesting because Saudi Arabia already know what it feels like to shock the football world. In 2022, they beat Argentina. That result is still one of the biggest World Cup upsets of the modern era. So Uruguay cannot walk into this match thinking it is automatic. Saudi Arabia are not favorites, but they have experience, they have belief. They have Salah Al-Dawsari, one of the biggest names in Saudi football. And they will look at this match and think, if we stay organized, if we survive the pressure, and if we take one big chance, anything can happen. But Uruguay are a serious test. This is Marcelo Bielsa's Uruguay. That means intensity, pressing, aggression, vertical football, and a team that will try to make Saudi Arabia uncomfortable from the first whistle. Uruguay have a strong football identity. They have history, they have toughness, and they have players who can dominate key areas of the pitch. Federico Valverde is the engine. Darwin Núñez gives them power and chaos up front. And with Bielsa, Uruguay will not want a slow, patient opener. They will want to turn the match into a test of speed, pressure, and physicality. The big question is whether Saudi Arabia can handle that rhythm. If Uruguay press high and win the ball in dangerous areas, Saudi Arabia could be in trouble. But if Saudi Arabia can break the first press, they may find space. That is where Al-Dawsari matters. He can carry the ball, he can create moments, and he has already proved he can score against elite opposition at a World Cup. For Uruguay, the danger is emotional control. Bielsa teams can be thrilling, but they can also leave space, and in opening matches, one mistake can change everything. There is also an off-pitch detail around Uruguay's build-up. Reports said their travel preparations were disrupted by aircraft paperwork problems before the Saudi Arabia opener. That should not decide the match. But in tournament football, preparation matters, routine matters, energy matters. And Uruguay will want to make sure that any travel disruption does not turn into a slow start. My prediction for Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay is Saudi Arabia 1, Uruguay 2. I think Saudi Arabia will compete, I think they can score, and I think this will be more uncomfortable for Uruguay than people expect. But Uruguay's midfield power, attacking quality, and Bielsa intensity should eventually be enough. Prediction, Saudi Arabia 1, Uruguay 2. Next, Iran versus New Zealand. Kickoff is 11 p.m. UK time, and this match is one of the most unusual fixtures of the tournament. On the pitch, it is a Group G opener between two teams trying to make a breakthrough. Off the pitch, it comes with a political backdrop, but both teams have tried to keep the focus on football. Iran's captain Mehdi Taremi has spoken about how the build-up has not had the normal World Cup joy because of the wider situation around Iran and the United States. New Zealand have also been asked about the political backdrop, but the message from both camps is clear. Once the match starts, this has to be about football. New Zealand are back at the World Cup after 16 years away, and they will believe they can make this game difficult. Their biggest attacking reference point is Chris Wood. He gives them experience, he gives them presence, he gives them aerial threat. And if New Zealand are going to hurt Iran, set pieces and crosses could be important. New Zealand are not expected to dominate the ball. They will probably defend in shape, stay compact, try to frustrate Iran, and then look for moments through Wood, second balls, and transitions. Iran arrive with more tournament experience. They have become World Cup regulars, but they have still never reached the knockout stage. So the pressure is clear. If Iran want to make history, this is the kind of match they need to win. Mehdi Taremi is the key player. He gives Iran quality in the final third. He can finish, he can link play, and he can make the difference in tight matches. Alireza Jahanbakhsh also brings leadership and experience. But Iran are missing one major name. Sardar Azmoun was left out of the squad. That changes the attacking picture, and it increases the responsibility on Taremi. The tactical battle here could be patience against resistance. Iran will likely have more of the ball. New Zealand will look to stay compact. Iran will try to move New Zealand side to side. New Zealand will try to keep the center protected. And if the game is still 0-0 after an hour, pressure could build very quickly. For Iran, the danger is frustration. For New Zealand, the danger is spending too long defending and eventually giving away one clear chance. This does not feel like a high-scoring match. It feels like a match that could be decided by one moment. My prediction for Iran versus New Zealand is Iran 1, New Zealand 0. I think New Zealand will make it difficult. I think Chris Wood gives them a real threat, but Iran have more attacking quality, more tournament experience, and enough individual talent to find one decisive goal. Prediction, Iran 1, New Zealand 0. Finally, Belgium versus Egypt. Kickoff is 2 a.m. UK time on Tuesday morning. And this might be the best match of the day. Belgium are favorites, but Egypt are dangerous. And the individual quality in this game is serious. Belgium are no longer the golden generation at its peak. That era has changed, but they still have major quality. Kevin De Bruyne remains the name that defines the team. If Belgium control midfield and get De Bruyne on the ball, they can create chances against almost anyone. They also have attacking options that can hurt Egypt if the game opens up. But Egypt will not fear Belgium. They have Mohamed Salah. They have Omar Marmoush. They have pace. They have direct threat. And under Hossam Hassan, they are talking about going beyond the group stage. That matters. Egypt are not approaching this tournament like they are just happy to be here. There is also a huge historical motivation. Egypt have never won a match at the World Cup finals. That is the statistic they want to end. And what better way to do it than against Belgium in the opening game? The head-to-head history gives Egypt some belief too. They have won 3 of their last 4 meetings with Belgium, and they beat Belgium in their most recent meeting in 2022. Now, World Cup football is different. Belgium will be prepared. Belgium will expect to win. But Egypt have enough attacking quality to make this a very uncomfortable match. This game could be decided by transitions. Belgium will want De Bruyne on the ball. Egypt will want Salah and Marmoush running into space. If Belgium lose the ball in midfield, Egypt can break quickly. If Egypt defend too deep for too long, De Bruyne can pick passes that hurt them. So the key question is simple. Can Egypt defend well enough to let Salah and Marmoush matter? Or will Belgium's midfield quality eventually take control? For Belgium, the key player is Kevin De Bruyne. Everything creative still flows through him. For Egypt, the key player is Mohamed Salah. But Marmoush could be just as important, because if Belgium focus too much on Salah, Marmoush can attack the spaces. That makes Egypt dangerous in more than one way. This is why I do not think this is a comfortable Belgium win. Egypt have the tools to score. Belgium have the quality to control periods of the match. And both teams have enough attacking threat to make this one of the more entertaining games of the day. My prediction for Belgium versus Egypt is Belgium 2, Egypt 1. I think Egypt make it close. I think Salah or Marmoush can create a major moment, but Belgium's midfield quality and experience should be enough to edge it. Prediction, Belgium 2, Egypt 1. So here is the prediction recap. Spain versus Cape Verde, 3-0. Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay, 1-2. Iran versus New Zealand, 1-0. Belgium versus Egypt, 2-1. That would mean Spain start Group H with authority. Uruguay survive a difficult opener. Iran begin Group G with 3 points. And Belgium edge a dangerous Egypt side in the biggest individual star matchup of the day. Now I want your predictions. Can Cape Verde shock Spain? Can Saudi Arabia produce another World Cup upset? Can New Zealand frustrate Iran? And can Egypt finally win a World Cup match against Belgium? Comment your score predictions below. And if you want daily World Cup match previews, predictions, reactions, and football stories throughout the tournament, subscribe to Ali Pro Library and turn on notifications. Let's go.